All right, everyone. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Kopitiam Council, third episode of the week. Usually, if you've been watching us enough, you know the format already. Is that we go international, national, then local, back to Sabah, and particularly this time because we've seen the news, the headlines being gripped by a particular new development, which has a lot of people shocked, but also not surprised because we have recently been witnessing videos being posted all across Malaysia kini regarding a whistleblower exposing 8 Sabah assemblymen in cases of graft and bribery. It also implicates top officials such as the Chief Minister, Dr. Sri Hajiji himself. This has sparked a lot of discussion and a lot of speculation as to the nature of said whistleblower. Conspiracy theories abound as well. Why such timing itself is very convenient, close to a election year for the Sabah state. So there's a lot to unpack here, but I just want to pass it over to Hafiz because maybe you can give us some. We can start. You can give us some direction where can we start here because it's a huge shock for a lot of people.
All right, so there are like two types of video or revelations that Malaysia Kini has posted. So first is by the ex-CEO of SMM, Sabah Mineral Management, and then some of the so-called from spy video camera, which is we seen some aduns from GRS, and of course our Deputy Chief Minister Shahelmi Yahya. So going back to the Sabah Mineral Management ex-CEO, so this is him talking about a process where he had to go through few channels to go against Chief Minister desire to appoint another new contractor in replacement for the 5 different PL licensing prospecting licensing for Sabah Mineral and Geology Department. So it's basically you already have in place, implemented, appointed contractors, and here come Chief Minister with all his power and saying otherwise. So as a CEO of the company, he tried his best to steer back to according to the law, but it was too novel. Chief Minister said he even in his video said like I was shouted at. So basically, Hajiji was shouting at him to say that no, you are. He said you are a CEO. I'm a chief minister. Wow, what a sentence to be used! You know, in a very short stint as chief minister. But I'm not. He could win next election, so I don't know that. But what more interestingly is the other videos where we can see Shahelmi's face. The other, I forgot the other Adun was. He mentioning about we got 20% for this. There's a project in Tenom, 70 millions, whatnot, blah blah blah. So these are the things that you only hear at the so-called Kopitiam. Okay, Kopitiam Council, huh? At Kopitiam, people talking like this. Oh, the Dun it is the YB. They got certain percent. But this is by Adun saying caught in camera, and then now we have it on YouTube. You can play it as many times as you want. It's still true. What more interestingly, the repercussion, the ripple effect is this, that the whistleblower seems to be in hard rock, dilemma here, where should he just go to SPRM to reveal himself so that an official report can be lodged so that investigation can be done. So otherwise it just remains like another thing that the police have to investigate the verification of it, because he wants protection and he needs protection as a whistleblower, whoever that record these videos, he needs to lodge an official report to SPR to MMCC MCC. Sorry, yeah. Another thing that what I think should be highlighted is that all of this in a matter of I think 1 or 2 days, top leaders, like you mentioned, Eddie Hajiji was denied straight away, and some of these leaders also said that this could be AI. How convenient is it? Like, Anwar Ibrahim going around the world saying that, oh, we should champion AI or whatever, and then we have Sabahans leader who implicated in this scandal said, oh yeah, this could be AI. Nowadays it's very convenient. Anyone with a computer can create AI. So that, yeah, this is not true. And Haji also resonated with that, saying that this is just to tarnish the image of government of the day. There's no truth in it, whatever. Like, I mean, that's for court to decide. As a chief minister, he should be open to investigation. Yes, he says that the cooperation with SPRM is always welcome. But I think he should be, not ridicule any of this, to dismiss just like that. He should be seen, not just think or act, but should be seen taking this alleged allegation seriously. So, what do you think about how these Sabahans politicians react? Some of them are really funny, because it's true TikToks and whatnot.
Well, I mean, obviously I think they're doing the right procedure in, come show, even though the video is out, right? They admitted that there's no wrongdoing, and that seems to be the standard practice until MACC is able to, and SPRM or SPRM is able to conduct the investigation. But I think I want to examine more underlying elements at play here, because this whistleblower is apparently a businessman who was able to have access to some of these YBs who are negotiating these particular contracts, right? First prospect license and all that. So definitely, this is a man on the inside. This is a man that has good access to high-level people, and why this and as a businessman, obviously the obvious thing to do as a businessman is to do business, to make a profit. So, it wouldn't be far-fetched to believe that this individual here is also involved in businesses with these individuals, these YBs here, right? And this refers back to at least the Whistleblower Protection Act of 2010, right? Which says that the MACC as an enforcement agencies can revoke a whistleblower's protection if they find that the whistleblower was also involved in misconduct, that misconduct disclosed. So this brings the question, is this whistleblower someone that was involved, or is it someone that just happens to be there and from the goodness of his heart, he decides to blow the whistle, the proverbial whistle here, right? Because not long after that, the Prime Minister himself also came out to say that whistleblowers are offered no protection, reiterating that they are offered no protection if they are involved here. Why would you say something like that? Why would you reiterate something like that to remind that the element of misconduct is at play here? So this is almost like shooting yourself in the foot here, if this is to be the case, and you don't know what kind of reprisals or retribution will come to this individual here, and that seems to be an element that we must consider here. Is that okay? Of course, wrongdoing is wrongdoing, right? But two wrongs do not make a right here. So that is one element at play. The second is the convenient timing of it all. Right as we approach the 5th year of Hajiji's administration as the state government, where he is expected to call an election no later than next September, this is a very convenient time to be disrupting any electoral strategies or any kind of electoral playmaking here, right? Nothing better than discrediting leadership and its components to ensure that the image looks bad, optics wise, it looks bad on by the rakyat, right? So this is convenient timing, and we must address it as well. I was just looking through this one one article, Philip Golingai, who claims to have very good sources on the inside, saying that he who has his suspicions that a particular individual, a very high level individual, is involved here. He says is why in the game he asked the political contact, who is friends with almost all Sabahan politicians, and the political contact says why is in all games. Who is why? We don't know. You can make a educated guess on who it could be. A lot of potential candidates at play here. Also continuing that the businessman, I'm quoting here from his article, that the businessman is part of a syndicate comprising of retired top enforcement officers, some with background in political intelligence gathering, and an inside man who manages mineral resources in Sabah. The syndicate, headed by a Tan Sri, has espionage know-how, example, a spy pen that can record HD videos, and the strategy using a well-meaning news portal to release videos to push the corruption narrative. So, this article implies that there is a conspiracy brewing around here to take down and discredit the current administration. So close to election, at a very pivotal and crucial time, and also to incite suspicion amongst the GRS parties here. It's like, oh wow, look, if our own allies are involved in this, right? Can we also be in trouble here? Are we also being spied upon? Are we also Are we also safe? So it also calls into question the ability of the GRS coalition to protect its members and allies here, whether they are involved in wrongdoing or not. For all we know, they're not. But at the same time, you don't want suddenly something coming up to discredit you, even though you've done nothing wrong, right? So this is something key insight that we have to consider here, that this doesn't happen out of nowhere. People, whistleblowers, especially one with such a vested interest, doesn't come out unless there is an incentive to do so. So that is an important takeaway for me when I look at this development.
Talking about the incentive to do that, do you think there's a connection between the opposition parties, especially Warisan or PKR in Sabah, that wants to sort of because you mentioned the timing, right? So is it at play here? Do you think?
I think it could be, but I wouldn't see why the PKR would be involved here, because let's say the Prime Minister or any of his PKR people somehow push this businessman to do what he did, record everything, right? But then not offer him protection. That kind of you're shooting your own man on the inside here. So it's hard for me to believe that narrative that the PKR might be involved. It could be, but without the consent of the party president, the prime minister himself, right? Wow, what a scandal! Even a bigger scandal itself, if the prime minister somehow has his hands, dirty in all of this, right? It signals a lot of. It will be very disastrous in terms of confidence between Sabah and the federal government, right? So maybe the other logical conclusion could be opposition parties that are trying to fracture GRS so that they can pick up pieces and take in discontented party assemblymen or candidates in the future. So possibly, I mean, I'm not saying that these are our predictions, but we're just laying out the possibilities at play here. There could be other possibilities I'm not seeing. Maybe Hafiz you can be seeing, but maybe even Hafiz cannot see. But maybe if you believe that there are other things that we're not seeing here, please let us know. This is a very juicy story, and we'd like to try to cover all bases, right?
Feel free to make the comment section below as a Kopitiam that you always talk all those theories. Yeah. Interestingly, also Adi, this morning, listeners, we are recording this on Monday. This morning, Bung Mokhtaruddin was also asked to enter defense on his plea to the federal court, so that he will be released from these charges. So yes, I think he passed on first two, but this is the final straw, and he did not pass this one. So he has to enter defense. He has to answer all those charges for the allegations of misappropriation, Felcra money that being used for public mutual. So I think here also, Adi, we have Bumutar on his on struggle. Now we have coming up to this. It's gonna be a very interesting election next year, where I think we just like those who did not involve in this, we just think, hey, why you guys want to pick this guy? Because hey, I've not been called upon to SPRM. I'm not whatever. So it could be the rhetoric in the next election. You want to re-elect him again? He's spending a lot of time in Kosovo, whatever. But putting that aside, also that this the whole thing is what I want to highlight, the underlying that I think it's all start with the people as well. You were spot on, Adi, when you mentioned about Sabah, especially Sabahans. We were shocked but not surprised. We have our own episode of this. We hear countless time of misappropriation, miswrongdoing, or whatever. All this time and time again. It's just this time it's very interesting because we have a video of the conversation. But what I wanted to highlight is the root cause of this is that the fact that Sabahans, most Sabahans, of course not all Sabahans, most Sabahans are still treating government as a welfare department. What I mean by that is that when it comes to election, the people are still actively looking for some sort of a cash handout going to the campaign, whatever. It might be a very trivial, or it's just 50 ringgit ba, or it's just 100 ringgit ba. But the implication is this, because what was exposed by the ex-CEOs is that these contracts or whatever given to fund political campaign. So what do you mean by political campaign? It's just to rent a hall or just whatever as a venue for it? Of course not. That's just gonna cost what? At most, 20K or 30K. If you do at SICC, maybe 100K. But they requires millions to give this cash handouts. And what are these cash handouts? It's just like the 50 or 100 ringgit that we mentioned to swing the voters in favor of them. So it's very critical that Sabahan, yes, we mourn about, another crop leaders, these are not a news for us. It's also, if we want to change for good, we need to stop this vicious cycle, because the politicians themselves are not gonna stop. It's in their interest to secure the next election and to keep doing this over and over again if they have to. It's up to us to say, nope, I will not accept your money. I will not even accept this, my so-called, it's nothing, 50 or 100 ringgit, because this will turn into a more disastrous like this. It's a vicious circle. They need to secure political money so that they can have more contracts and then get more money to secure re-elections. If the politicians know by doing a good thing, a proper work can get them elected, they will definitely do that. No one in their right mind would just want to do all this so-called under the table things or whatnot. They would prefer to do a proper work. But because of the environment that we have, because of the situations, political scene in Sabah, it's like that. I think they have to do it. So it starts with Sabahan. If you hate stories like this, again and again, you should start with yourself. This is what we see in urban area. People like in KL, whatever, in Putrajaya, you don't hear this kind of conversation where people, come. I mean, they are. It's just it's not dominating the space. So in Sabah, it would be the other way around. Like people don't talk about policy. They don't even know how Hajiji stands with. It's just the white flag. Oh yeah, vote for that white flag party. No, it's different discussions here, and we need to stop the buck from the rakyat itself. So we need to do it because the politicians will not do it. Sabahans, we must get together, not just about this, but other things as well. Talk about policies and whatnot to your children, to your family, to your friends, so that we can start a ball rolling right now. The elections coming up at the latest by September. I think it's not too late to start.
Yeah, I think the issue with Sabah is that patronage is, in this situation, patronage, let's call it, patronage as well, patrimonialism as well, is that it is a symptom of a much larger societal issues that we've enabled and we've incentivized this kind of politics here. Is that the YBs and the politicians have no choice but to do so because they need to secure the votes, right? And they're rewarded for doing so because they would win if they are able to generate enough money to give out, right? If you're lucky, you can get some areas which is up to 300 ringgit, which that's quite a lot of money, isn't? I mean,
Wow.
you can keep, right? For some people, right, and especially in the rural area, that means a lot. That means a lot as a vote, and we cannot exactly blame them as well, saying that, oh, your vote is cheap. No, that's just what they are conditioned to do as well. I mean, we're just used to the process, and we haven't seen the prospects of a better solution, a better way to conduct our politics in a way that the focus is on policy. Of course, it seems to be the best way to do so is to urbanize, is to bring people more to the urban areas. But we don't want to bring everyone into the city, right? We want to empower the communities where they are, right? So I think that seems to be the key here, is to empower the local and rural communities economically, so that they are able to not worry about the next meal ticket or the next cash handout, so that they have enough time and ability and enough time and avenue to think about things such as policy here. Prosperity has to come, I believe, has to come first before we can start thinking about the more high level things. And this is a classic tale, which is the urban-rural divide, is that we cannot expect this of people in the rural area, and people in the rural area cannot expect that us in the urban think the same way as well, because we are expecting different things. Our expectations are different. It's not. It's like why Bung Mukta can win Kinabatangan, but if you put someone like Tony Pua over there,
Oh
I can
yeah.
assure you, there's definitely it's going to be a clear-cut winner that Bung Mukta is going to win against Tony Pua, right? Because that the kind of politics peddled by people like Tony Pua or people in PKR, like deep PKR, aren't able to resonate or be relatable to the people in Kinabatangan as an example, and that is why
No
you have someone like
disrespect to
Bung
people
Mata.
from Kinabatangan, by the way.
Yeah, no disrespect. If that makes you happy, right? If Bung Mata makes you happy, more power to you. Go ahead, vote for him. But just to highlight that there is that difference, and isn't that the idea of diversity, right? The diversity to have different political opinions, right? And the way to conduct politics. I mean, we may disagree that we may agree that this is the wrong way to do it, but we enable the system to be as such, right? So this is a symptom of a much larger issue that we have to tackle together as Sabahans, to say that if we really don't want something like this, then we need to start putting measures to ensure that something like this doesn't happen. For example, how about we start considering the idea of a two-term limit for any elected position, whether it be as a assembly person or a member of parliament, right? So that no one can hold that kind of indefinitely till like what 4 or 5 terms for some. Everything some is up to their 5th or 6th term at this point already, right? But where 2 terms can be enough as a way to stifle some of these ambitions, these political ambitions of amassing some, so and so amount of a wealth to disperse during the elections, right? Maybe, I mean, that I'm not saying that will solve the issue, right? The core issue, but we can start by assembling the bulkheads where they need to be. Then we can see if we have enough resources or ample avenues to start moving towards strengthening our democracy, if we want to really move towards that direction of strengthening democracy. If I don't know if I cannot speak for most Sabahans here, but that is going to be a very long and uphill battle, because the democratic experiment is something still very new to us. We're still trying to find ways to ensure that it succeeds, not just in Sabah, in Malaysia as well, the region as a whole, right? So this is another case of me saying we need to look more inwards. We need to do soul searching. What kind of governance do we really want? But at the end of the day, what is definitely a constant is the prosperity of the rakyat, the people, the citizens, and that can only come through some form of benevolence, right? Benevolent leaders, benevolent people in charge, right? And an efficient delivery and bureaucratic system, right? So that it will always be the constant. And how you want to get to that is up to us to decide how we want to get there, whether it be through, a more public state affair, like the state-run affair, or do we want to see it more being decentralized and be more privatized in private hands?
So to Sabahans out there, when it comes to the election campaign time, ask your representative, ask your candidates, what would they do in terms of policy wise, whatnot, and how they would aspire Sabah to be better in any way. Like, Sabahan could, use a lot of improvement. So let's do one improvement at a time, and we shall be there as well. And I think we're gonna be doing a lot of coverage of course, if election comes. So that we stay tuned. And if you want to suggest anyone who will talk about Sabah politics or whatnot, please comment down below. And if you like short format, where should they find us, Adi?
You can find us on our Instagram or our TikTok or even our YouTube channel as well, all the same name, Kopitiam Council. And if you are excited to see more of our content, stay tuned, follow, like, subscribe, because we definitely have a lot more content coming up, especially in the coming week, because I will be back in Kuala Lumpur. So that means, hey, back to KL Podcast Studio. We have something very interesting lined up for that. Very, very interesting. I myself am very excited for what comes next, and we hope you will be too.
All right. And with that, until next time, goodbye for now.